Hi, I'm Wilson Cruz, and in honor of Pride Month, I wanted to share with you the LGBTQ trailblazers whose shoulders I stand on. Sylvia Rivera is one of our LGBTQ icons. She was one of the people who helped spark the Stonewall riots, along with Marsha P. Johnson. She also created an organization along with Marsha P. Johnson called STAR, which was the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionary, which was a group that really advocated for helping homeless youth, drag queens, trans people living on the street. What she taught me was that there is no justice, there is no liberation if we are not working towards justice and liberation for the most marginalized of our community. And that includes trans people, especially trans people of color. She was, till the end of her life, fighting for their rights, but also challenging the entire LGBTQ community to never leave them behind. Because we will only consider ourselves free when we are all free. Bayard Rustin was the architect of the March on Washington and the senior advisor for Martin Luther King Jr. He was really the person who introduced Martin Luther King to the concept of nonviolence. And in that way, he was a great contributor to the civil rights movement. And he was also an openly gay man. And because of this, he had to take a back seat to Martin Luther King and all of the other leaders because of the rampant homophobia of the times. He taught me power of humility. Just because he had to take a back seat didn't mean that he needed to dim his own light or lower his voice. As a matter of fact, his voice was booming through every street that he marched through because he understood that it wasn't about him. It was about this movement and what he could do in order to help his people. Later on, he would speak truth to power to the NAACP and get them to do more work in terms of HIV and AIDS in the African American community. Here's the thing about Harvey Fierstein. Not many of us get to meet our heroes, but I did. Harvey's become a friend. And I've had the joy of being able to tell him a lot of this, but as a teenager in the 80s, I knew I was gay, and I knew that I wanted to be an actor and a singer. But there was nothing in pop culture or in society that would have led me to believe that I could, except for Harvey Fierstein. He is a beloved playwright and actor, personality. He is a Tony Award-winning actor for a Torch Song trilogy, which he wrote, which was a seminal piece of film that changed my entire existence.
There's nothing I need from anyone except for love and respect, and anyone who can't give me those two things has no place in my life.
It seemed to me that he understood that he needed to blaze his own trail. I remember thinking about Harvey and considering his career and his life when I decided to come out during my so-called life. And I remember thinking, if Harvey can do it, so can I. Audre Lorde is an American poet and essayist and advocate who used her voice to speak about racism and sexism and classism and heterosexism and their intersectionalities. She understood and helped me understand that we're more powerful when we join against transphobia and homophobia with the struggle for racial equality. Audre Lorde said, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less important whether I am afraid." I remember thinking about those words when I decided to come out publicly and when I have decided to speak for my communities. I remember those words. I remember to dare to be powerful. James Baldwin was an American icon, a playwright, an author, an essayist, an activist, the conscience of the civil rights movement, I would say. I discovered him as a teenager, as I began to seek out voices that helped me understand myself. I looked to him for examples of people who could speak to my experience. You know, he famously said, "I love America more than any other country in the world. And exactly for this reason, I insist on the right to criticize her perpetually." And up until I understood that, until I heard that, I thought it was unpatriotic to speak against the policies or the administration. But James Baldwin helped me understand that it was my duty to speak about the inequality, the hate, and to speak from a place of rage. If you used it to help convey the pain of being discriminated against because of who you are, because of the color that you are, or because of who you love, or how you identify. He helped me understand that I needed to harness that rage, but that rage didn't mean that I didn't love my country. It meant that I loved it even more, because I wanted this country to fulfill its potential, to actually become the perfect union that we claim we are working towards.